Okay, let's take a look at how to add a new site to your CarePaths system. Now, when you first sign up for CarePaths, a site will be created for you by default with the facility type set to office. However, if you're going to be seeing patients in other locations, you may need to set up additional sites for insurance purposes. So we can access this section by clicking on the Sites link on our homepage, or by going to the membership menu and selecting sites. Hit add a new site. First we're going to put a name in here. Let's use teletherapy. For facility type, we're going to select O2 for telehealth, which is what most insurance companies are going to want for teletherapy claims. Site type we can leave as the default setting of serve. That's for pretty much all cases unless you hear specifically from your insurance company that they want something else there. And if we're going to be putting the same address on this as we have for our billing provider, which we would for this case, we can leave the rest of these sections blank. So let's switch over to that address tab. Now, since we want to make sure that we have the exact same address as the one in our billing provider, I'm going to go ahead and open that billing provider and pull the address from there. Right-click and open in a new tab. Click Edit on our Test Doctor billing provider. Scroll down to Address, then just copy it line by line. And in both billing provider and site, it's important to make sure you have this 9-digit zip code, or zip code +4. If you don't know that for your location, you can go to the USPS website and look it up using your address. Now we can go ahead and hit Save Site. You can see that the site was successfully added, and we can now edit relationships, which is an important step here. So we're going to click over to that Relationships tab. First, we're going to add a program. Like sites, there will be a program set up for you by default when you create your CarePaths site. It's going to be named Psychotherapy Services, and you can use that for pretty much all situations. So let's click Add here. Let's type in the first few letters to find that. There it is. And now it's added. You can go ahead and switch over to Patients here. Now, any patients that you're going to be seeing on this site, you are going to need to add here individually. So we're going to go to this Add box. We're going to search by patient last name. Let's add Joe Test Patient. Let's add Jimmy Buffett. Now, one other thing we may need to edit here. Let's switch over to Joe Test Patient. Click on Account. Let's click on the Relationships tab here. Click on Sites. And you can see that new teletherapy site we just added is there. Now, let's click on Edit Site Dates. You can see it has today's date, which is 2/18, which is the day that we added that site. However, let's say if we have a claim that we need to file for Joe on 2/16, and we need to use this site for it, then we're going to need to edit this over here. Let's put it in for the day before, just to be safe, and hit Update, and there we go. We can now add that to a new clinical document that we can use to send a claim on for the date of 2/16. It's worth noting you can also add and remove sites on this end from the patient chart. Let's go ahead and remove that site we just added. And now we can add it back again. And there we go. And it doesn't matter which side you do it from, whether you add patients to a site or add sites to a patient, the result is exactly the same. One other thing you're going to need to take a look at when dealing with sites is the default site, which can be found under Admin, Settings, Claims. Now right here you can see that the default site is set as blank, and since we have multiple sites that we're using that we may want to send claims on, we want to leave that there. If you're only ever seeing patients in an office, or you're only ever seeing patients via telehealth, and you only need to send claims based on that one facility type, then you can go ahead and select that here. However, since we are using multiple sites, and we want to have those as options on any claim we send, then we're just going to leave this blank so that we can select a site each time we make a new claim. So we're going to say Update Settings, and there we go. We should be all set to use that new site and select it anytime we need it when creating a clinical document for a claim.